Hey, what's up, guys? This is the Great American Fallout Podcast. So I'm waiting for Kevin to get on, but I thought we can jam. This is our first live broadcast, so yeah, there might be some technical glitches, but that's all good. I thought we can get together, talk about current events, maybe some plans, what I got going on in the mix as far as what I'm thinking about and what I'm getting prepped for, and some weird stuff that I'm sure you're seeing, I'm seeing, and if you haven't seen it yet, then let's check it out together. So this is a new setup, so I am getting into it. So, all right, first off, I think we've all heard about this, the China's massive Three Gorges Dam. So pretty much a break to this dam would be catastrophic in our food supply. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen this article. This is from the Gateway Pundit. This is from July 16th, but there was some interesting stuff in here that I thought, well, if it's interesting to me, it's interesting to you guys. So let's get into it. So China's massive Three Gorge Dam is at risk of blowing, putting 400 million people at risk. The problem with China is that the once claimed the dam would withstand 10,000-year flood, then a 1,000-year flood, and now only a 100-year flood. So some of these pictures show the dam is now displaced since it was built, which has many people scared that it might break. So the issue here is that the dam breaking doesn't only have implications in China, it also has implications worldwide. So we would see that effect, other countries would see that effect, and just a short break in that chain may lead to some type of food shortage, which may lead to other types of things, right? So cool. Let's keep going through this. And let me pull this to the side. Awesome. Hey, what's up, Jamie? Alright, cool. So I got this. This is a new setup. So, cool. So, China's leading producer of most agricultural commodities in terms of volume, but it only has about 12% of its land and area available for cultivation. Much of that has disappeared under the urban developments, many misplaced. And remember the theme here, urban developments, and has been polluted by industrial output. So China cannot feed itself, and pretty much this is some of the things that's going to be affecting us. The thing that really stood out to me about this article is that his point is to make it my point here is that it is a mistake to picture China as just one country among many. It is 20% of the world's population spreading everywhere to secure something that has always been a problem because of the natural conditions facing the homeland. So this is nuts. This article goes into how it could affect American wheat, it could affect soybean production in Brazil, all kinds of other things. So this is one of the crazy things that's going on that's kind of affecting other things. Adjust my hat. Alright, let's see what's going on. Adjust your hat? What are you talking about, bro? Let's check this out real quick. So let me just take a look here. Oh, gotcha. All right. So I'm a little far back, and then I thought it was something about the stream, but I'm checking the stream status for now. It's good. So this is the first live stream I've done, and I'm just going to change it. The Great American Fallout live stream, and this is going to be about bug out, prep, riots, warm civil war, and dark stuff, man. Overall, kind of some dark stuff that I've been seeing, and that's crazy. So I didn't read this entire article, but you kind of get the gist of it, that there's a dam that's on the brink of destruction. In Beirut, there was missile attacks, and I'm sure everyone's seen that, right? I'm not going to play the missile attacks here, but I've seen tons of different angles and heard different theories as to what that is, but there's been other attacks and explosions. So this and the whole CV thing, right? The CV, we all know what that is. There's a video here from Ben Swan. He covers a Yale study that's attempting to manipulate people in ways that we might not have thought about before, right? So we already know about Operation Mockingbird. That's the CIA's infiltration into Hollywood. And this Yale study kind of goes into depth about how some of those factors might be tweaked to make you want to take a vaccine. And that's just crazy to me. So let's check this out.
So here's a question for you. When the coronavirus vaccine becomes available, do you plan to take it? Some of you watching will say, absolutely, yes. Others will say, you're not sure. And so others will say, absolutely not. There's no way. Well, the truth is, for those of you who are unsure, or those of you who say no, Yale University is working on a study to make sure they know how to properly manipulate you into actually taking the vaccine. Not kidding about this. The study is being created to figure out different ways to message or persuade Americans to take the vaccine when it becomes available. And some of what that particular study is looking at will probably infuriate you. I'm Ben Swan, and this is Truth in Media.
Let's get through some of this here.
And sooner or later it will. The question becomes, how many people will actually line up to take it? Now, this is a question that is frustrating governments and certainly vaccine makers and people like Bill Gates and Dr. Anthony Fauci, who want to make sure that the entire American population does receive the vaccine. The problem is, even with the current flu vaccine, about half of the country never bothers to get it. So how do you convince people to get the coronavirus vaccine? And that's where Yale University has stepped in. Before we get to the findings of how their study is being conducted, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, ISC.media, our new free speech platform being created.
So that's not my sponsor, and Ben Swan, all the credits to you, man, but let's get to it.
And trials to get a drug to market. They've never done it, and yet they are the company leading the way on this brand new coronavirus vaccine. So Yale University researchers are now looking at a 4,000-person study to try to figure out how to best create messaging, though the right term really should be manipulation, to persuade Americans to take this vaccine when it does come to market. The study tests different messages about vaccinating against COVID-19 once the vaccine becomes available. Participants are randomized to one of 12 arms, with one control arm and one baseline arm. We will compare the reported willingness to get a COVID-19 vaccine at 3 and 6 months of it becoming available between the 10 intervention arms to the 2 control arms. Study participants are recruited online by Lucid, which matches census-based sampling in online recruitment. So take a look here at the arms and interventions. They use a sham comparator control, a control message about bird feeding. 2 out of 15 of the sample will be assigned to the pure control group, which is a passage on the costs and benefits of bird feeding. Under that are the experimental comparators. For instance, the experimental personal freedom. 1/15 of the sample will be assigned to this intervention, which is a message about how COVID-19 is limiting people's personal freedom, and by working together to get enough people vaccinated, society can preserve its personal freedom, which of course makes no sense at all. You will have personal freedom if you comply and do what everyone else is doing, regardless of how you feel about it. Another experimental, social pressure through guilt. 1/15 of the sample will be assigned to this message. The message is about the danger that COVID-19 presents to the health of one's family and community. The best way to protect them is by getting vaccinated, and society must work together to get enough people vaccinated. Then it asks the participant to imagine the guilt they will feel if they don't get vaccinated and spread the disease.
So they're trying to use guilt as a means of, well, literally guilting people into taking the CV vaccine. So that's insane. Actually, this video is on YouTube, so I don't think YouTube's gonna pull us down for this. Let's keep going.
Their social pressure they want to use? Embarrassment. 1/15 of the sample will be assigned to this message. The message is about the danger that COVID-19 presents to the health of one's family and community. The best way to protect them is by getting vaccinated and by working together to make sure that enough people get vaccinated. Then it asks the participant to imagine the embarrassment they will feel if they don't get vaccinated and spread the disease. Then they're trying to use the social pressure, anger.
So one thing about embarrassment, so I'm sure you've heard Trump is doing some major moves against TikTok, since it's a China-led organization and they're collecting our data. So if you guys don't know, TikTok was caught, they were capturing the contents of the clipboard. So if you copied something on your phone and it was on the clipboard, they would get that. So if you copied your social security number or your phone number or an address or a note that you sent to somebody, that would be copied and stored and collected. And it went into deeper detail that they were collecting even more information about you. So I've also heard that they're creating shadow accounts. So even if you have a Facebook account and you have a picture with somebody and they don't have a Facebook account, Facebook sets up a profile about that person. Other pictures that are tagged are added to that shadow account. Phone numbers, any information. So the idea here, the emphasis on my part, is there's a wealth of information on you. Pretty much everything that you've ever done your entire life has been collected, and I'm sure everybody has some embarrassing moments that they can't take back, and those could potentially be used to leverage against you to take a vaccine. That's crazy. I'm just saying, if they're going this far to see if embarrassment's an important factor or indicator in getting people to take a vaccine, that means they're actually giving it some thought in the first place. So let's keep going.
1/15 of the sample will be assigned to this message. The message is about the danger that COVID-19 presents to the health of one's family and community. The best way to protect them is by getting vaccinated and by working together to make sure that enough people get vaccinated. Then it asks the participant to imagine the anger they will feel if they don't get vaccinated and spread the disease. Now, here's my favorite one. Trust in science. 1/15 of the sample will be assigned to this message about how getting vaccinated against COVID-19 is the most effective way of protecting one's community. Vaccination is backed by science. If one doesn't get vaccinated, that means that one doesn't understand how infections are spread or who ignores science. Trust in science, they say, is not based upon trusting the fact that, by the way, not all vaccinations work for all people, and by the way, even the flu vaccine that is taken by millions of people every year only affects 60 to 40% of those who actually get the vaccine. We'll talk about about that in a minute, because the CDC's own numbers show only 40 to 60% of the people who take the flu vaccine actually have benefit from it. And
so one of the things he said here is only 40 to 60 people that take the vaccine, according to the CDC, only benefit from it. But earlier in the video, he also said that only 50% of people take a flu shot on average. So I'm interested in hearing later on, or digging down a little deeper later on, if this 40 to 60% of the people only applies to 50% of the entire population. So let's keep going.
Finally, the experimental not bravery arm. 1/15 of the sample will be assigned to this message, which describes how firefighters, doctors, and frontline medical workers are brave. Those who choose not to get vaccinated against COVID-19 are not brave. What are we, 5 years old? You're going to try to convince people to take the vaccine by calling them scared? You're too scared to take this vaccine? By the way, many of the people who would refuse to take the vaccine, it's not about a lack of bravery, it's about a courage of conviction. And that conviction is that they don't trust how this vaccine is being manufactured or the profit motivations behind it. That's not about cowardice, it's about courage of conviction. But going on from there, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates has said that people could need multiple doses of a potential coronavirus vaccine to immunize themselves from the coronavirus. If necessary, the multiple doses could require more than 7 billion vaccinations to be administered worldwide. And of course, all the manipulation in this Yale study does not take into account the fact that actually, as I said, with the flu vaccine, it is not always effective. And from year to year, who it's effective on and how it's effective changes dramatically. In fact, in 2012 to 2013, the H3N2 component of the flu vaccine was effective in just 39% of people. Researchers from the University of Chicago, Harvard University, and others show that poor immune responses may explain the low effectiveness of the vaccine that year. And by the way, even the CDC admits that on any given year, only about 40 to 60% of the population actually benefits from the vaccine that they have taken. The flu vaccine can reduce the risk of flu illness by between 40 and 60% among the overall population during seasons when most circulating flu viruses are well matched to the flu vaccine. Notice that wording there, when it is well matched. The reason for that is because on any given year, vaccine makers make a vaccine for the wrong flu strain. They don't know which flu strain is going to be especially predominant. So there are millions of people who can take vaccines and have it for the wrong flu strain in any given year. Again, the idea of what Yale is pushing here is that if you trust science, if you are brave, if you are a good person, a compassionate person, a person who cares about their family and their neighbors, you will do this. You will take this vaccine, because by taking the vaccine, everyone is safer. And yet the simple, basic science of vaccines, even if you believe completely in vaccines, we're not even going to debate about the side effects of vaccines. Even if you believe that they absolutely work, no side effects, the reality is, even by the CDC's own numbers, they're only effective on any given year in 40 to 60% of the population that takes them.
All right, so stop there. Just a crazy video. Crazy video. Excuse me. All right, so we got potential food shortages worldwide. That's one angle. This guy gets into some other stuff, but he says some really insightful things. This are the guys over at Full Spectrum Survival. If you haven't heard of them, follow them. They're putting out so much information, and they have been for a while. So it scares me when I see posts from 9, 10, 11 months ago, and it's directly talking about if these types of things like a pandemic and a food shortage and all these other factors pop up, like these guys have been on it. So Full Spectrum Survival, but I queued these all to where I wanted to read them, except for one video, which is really insane. It's really well done. Props to everyone else, and props to my buddy Jimbo who sent me this Ben Swan video. I haven't seen a whole bunch of Ben Swan stuff, but this Yale study and the information that Ben Swan's doing and how he puts it out, it's really well done. Are the guys over at Full Spectrum Survival. Let's see what they got to say.
The rest of the time, then he will deploy the U.S. military. Years ago, we were reading reports that the U.S. military was using U.S. soil, urban environments to train in. Now, you only use the environments that you plan to be deployed in to train in. If not, you won't be ready for that war. You won't be ready for that action. So why is the U.S. military using U.S. soil, urban environments for training? Ask yourself those questions. For most, the term urban warfare evokes images of destroyed buildings, terrified civilians, and dust-covered rescues, not scenes associated with states in the U.S. With public officials using terms, let's examine what scholars know about the urban warfare terminology. Urban warfare is a broad term referring to military operations within cities. Depending on the political and strategic goals, urban warfare can be conventional, such as the British campaign in Belfast during Troubles. Increasingly, democratic countries are also sending in military forces when police are overwhelmed, as France did during the Yellow Vest protests. Most recently, the U.S. military fought in urban warfare as part of its coalition to defeat ISIS from 2016 to 2017. What this is showing us is that militarized police, the U.S. military, the governments and governors of every state, and the U.S. government as a whole are preparing for large-scale, massive amounts of unrest on U.S. soil. All this tells us that the U.S. military's experience with urban warfare has involved fighting enemies overseas, not confronting Americans at home. That said, the U.S. government has deployed military forces on U.S. soil on some occasions, for instance, in Los Angeles. So how do you mass and dominate the battle space, this report asks. Militaries prefer not to fight in cities. Cities are mazes of high-rise buildings, and what you need to do as an individual is take note of what they say their complications are so that you can navigate those environments to keep your family safe when this happens. Cities are mazes of high-rise buildings, massive highways, underground transportation networks, narrow side streets, and densely populated neighborhoods. When large forces and heavy military equipment begins moving through the streets, they destroy buildings, streets, and critical infrastructure. Clearing buildings and patrolling narrow streets requires splitting units up into sub-teams that often can't see or hear each other. Any multi-story buildings could be a sniper's nest. Now, we recently did
So, I'm just getting into some of the things. I put up the article that he was reading off of so I can get into some of the details here, because they cover urban warfare, urban warfare is a broad term referring to military operations in cities. That's standard. You think of any recent wars, Iraq or Afghanistan, like he was saying, all the buildings, that's pretty much urban warfare. Or Black Hawk Down, that's all urban warfare. So the crazy thing is, where is it? There was, maybe I was on it before I left. They cover maybe just dominating the streets. So one of the things that poked out to me is I remember in season 1 of The Walking Dead, the main character, I forget what his name is, and I'm sure people are gonna yell at me. The whole 4 that are gonna watch this total right now, right? But he was in the suburbs, and then he decides to go to the city, and once he's in the city, he makes a noise, and all the hordes run in on him, and he's just trapped inside the city, and that's kind of what I think this is referring to. But so how do you mass and dominate the battle space? Militaries prefer not to fight in cities. Cities are mazes of high-rise buildings, massive highways, underground transportation networks, narrow side streets, and densely populated neighborhoods. When large forces or heavy military equipment move through the streets in mass, they destroy buildings, streets, critical infrastructure. Clearing buildings and patrolling nearby streets require splitting units up to sub-teams that often can't see or hear each other. And any multi-story building could be a sniper's nest. So one of the things here is if you are trapped in the city and you don't have a preparedness plan put together, and so if you don't have a plan for how you're going to get out of the city, how you're going to get your gear out of the city, how you're going to communicate with people, who you're going to communicate with, where you're going, if you don't have those kinds of plans and you're living in the city, I would highly recommend you start watching some videos and educating yourself and start a plan. But there was one specific thing here. To dominate the battle space requires first physically and psychologically isolating or sealing off enemy combatants inside the urban area of operations, limiting movement, communications, and access to reinforcements, weapons, and supplies until they surrender. So this is dominating the battle space in urban warfare to essentially isolate or seal off enemy combatants inside the urban area of operations. So I think it's funny because Mayor Lori Lightfoot did just this the other day. I guess the riots were so bad that she raised the bridges to protect all of downtown. So all of downtown was protected, but everybody outside of the downtown area essentially didn't have access to police, and they're already trying to defund the police as it is. So that's crazy to me. It's according to the definitions here, it would seem that Lori Lightfoot is attempting to dominate the urban battle space in Chicago, but she did it, in my opinion, an incorrect way because she put other innocent people at harm. So we're getting into some of the riots and stuff. This is one of the things that's really been crazy for me because I've been watching the riots every single night. There's a stream here. Let me see if I can just pull it up real quick. If you guys are interested in watching, because I watch it every single night, and I've seen some crazy stuff that I'm going to share with you guys, and hopefully it doesn't get pulled off of YouTube. I mean, it's on YouTube, so I don't understand how it would get pulled off. So let's check it out. So it's called Eyes On. That's it. The cool thing I like about these streams is that, for instance, when you click into one, it'll give you a whole bunch of streams input into one screen, and it also tells you who the streamers are and what platform they're streaming from. So if you have access to those platforms, like myself, I have access to Twitch and YouTube, because that's what I use for game streaming. I don't have Facebook. I don't have any of these other social media platforms. So if I did have Facebook, I can go directly to this person's page and watch the feed. So it's cool because you're almost playing like you're almost switching the channels on live downtown action. So I saw when Mayor Ted Wheeler walked out and got gassed apparently. Cause that's just crazy to me because it was the one instance where I literally watched everything go down. I saw him out there talking to people. I saw him on stage. Everybody was saying, "Quit your job, Teddy. Quit your job." This and that. Then he walked over. People started launching fireworks at the courthouse. Then this is when right after they put the fence up. So he's out there. He's the mayor and he's also the police commissioner. So he's the head of police there, and things are blowing up around him. And everyone's telling him, "Go screw yourself, quit your job, you're no good." And in the comments you can see they're trying to get him gas. They're trying to get him gas. He's posing for his photo op, and I was like, no way. There's no way this is really happening. And then it happens. So I can find that clip. I don't know if I want to dig for it right now. I'm sure I can find it. And I'm not going to watch anything on this specific channel. But let me see how this pops up here. Cool. I did want to watch something I saw 3 days ago. This is insane. Yeah, let's check this out. So this is the protest. This is from Teams Gaming on Twitch. They're doing some really good capture of everything that's going on there. They're at the front lines. It seems like every time there's something big going on, they're at the front lines and they have a good angle. So they're doing some damn good reporting, honestly, from that angle. But there's.
This has been declared into your gas.
All right. So for me, this is where it gets scary. I mean, for me, this is where it gets a little hairy. So, yeah, let's check it out. Maybe right before this. So the police are down the street, and you hear everybody playing music and chanting, or doing their cheers. I don't know what those are called. If you guys can, let me know how the audio is. This is my first live stream, so just let me know how the audio is. I can adjust here from my control center, but here we go. That's where it gets crazy, right? You think it's peaceful, but something burning in the streets. I think that's a dumpster.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared an unacceptable assembly. Leave the area to the west now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest or citation to include ground control agents, impact munitions, and tear gas.
So if you can't hear, they're saying this is the Portland Police Department. We've now declared this a riot. Please disperse. If you do not disperse, we will issue citations, fines, restrain you, or use non-lethal munitions such as tear gas. I believe that's the speech. They repeated it a few times here.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared an unlawful assembly. Leave the area to the west now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest or citation to include crowd control agents, impact munitions, and tear gas. assembly. Leave the area to the west now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest or citation, to include crowd control agents, impact munitions, and tear gas.
This is wild. Watch this. This is wild.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared an unlawful assembly. Leave the area to the west.
No. I watch this live every single night. So I literally think that this combat is kind of like the start of a civil war. I truly believe that we're seeing little flashes of that. And I think that certain forces or groups pushing the boundaries to see how much they can get away with now. And every time you give an inch, they'll always try to wedge their foot in a little deeper. But so this was pretty intense at the time I was watching it. So hope that helps on why I'm so jacked about showing this. But you'll see in a second, it gets pretty crazy.
West now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest or citation, to include crowd control agents, impact munitions, and tear gas. This is the Portland Police Bureau. This has been declared an unlawful assembly. Leave the area to the west now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest or citation, to include crowd control agents, impact munitions, and tear gas. This is the Portland Police Bureau.
So it's like out of
This
nowhere.
has been declared an unlawful.
So this looks like a peaceful riot. I mean, a peaceful protest. It's just crazy because from the first angle, you're like, okay, cool, this is cool. But then out of nowhere, it's like one fire. Okay, it's one group. But no, what you see is the group of protesters, whatever you call them. I don't care what you call them. For me, I don't know. I just see what I see. I see what I'm watching. I see what you're about to watch here. But excuse me. It seems like they're leading the police on this wild goose chase through the streets, through these barricades. And, I mean, generally, when you're leading people like that, you're leading them into a trap. You're like, kind of like in 300, where all the invading Persians are going into the hot gates. They're going into a trap, into a funnel. And that's kind of the sense I got when I was watching this live.
The area to the west now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest or citation, to include crowd control agents, impact munitions, and tear gas.
So it's crazy because, you know, we already kind of talked about some of this stuff, but potential food shortage globally. You've got riots, civil dispute. You've got forced vaccinations, and you've literally got people rioting in the streets and doing these kind of things. So this is really the kind of things that have been on my mind as far as being prepped for dealing with a scenario that would arise when all of these things hit at once like they are. All right, what happened? So it's kind of glitchy because the person was going through some spotty reception area, but this is insane coming up, and then I'll switch the subject. drums too. Watch this, watch this. Not sure if you saw that, but they shot fireworks at him, and then the person, one of the demonstrators, rioters, protesters, whatever you're gonna call them, they ran over and picked up the munitions. So essentially, they're picking up evidence. It's the same thing when people shoot shells into a sock when they're doing crime, so they're not traced. But I'm gonna run that back just in case you didn't see that. That's one of the things I picked up over the last month of watching this live, or 2 weeks, however long it's been. It's been a while. So that was the little glitch. I might have gone back a little too far. I'll pay more attention next time, but it's crazy. I didn't see that person fall before. Alright, here we go. So you hear them? You hear them? Tighten up, tighten up, tighten up, tighten up. They're literally, it reminds me of like medieval knights when they're all lining up, or even like the Civil War with the muskets. They're leading formations. Tighten up, tighten up. So the person was, if you listen to them, they're organized, and a little too organized. If you know what I mean. A little too organized. It's kind of crazy. So my buddy Kev's getting on. Well, you guys know Kev, right? But he's getting on. He's joining on Zoom. So I gotta link him in with this new control panel I got, and I'm sure it'll work. But I'm gonna keep playing this because it gets a little spicy right here. So we got the war drums. No! Alright, so that's two of a couple ads. I'm not gonna do that. Well, I guess I have to, right? But it's alright, we're waiting on Kev anyway. So I can we got 13 seconds. Man. It seems like so long when you're actually doing something. Doesn't it always seem like that, right? When you're about to do something, when you got nothing going on, it's always the real quick 5-second ads. But all right, here we go. Here we go.
For crowd control agents, including tear gas and impact weapons. This is the Portland Police. This has been declared a riot. Disperse to the north now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest, citation, or crowd control agents, including tear gas, and impact weapons. This is the Portland Police. This has been declared a riot. Disperse to the north now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest, citation, or crowd control agents, including tear gas and impact weapons. This is the Portland Police. This has been declared a riot. Disperse to the north now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest, citation, or crowd control agents, including tear gas and impact weapons.
So there's a part here where the cops literally get blasted with some crazy stuff. Let's keep going. Just waiting for it to happen, and I know it's coming up here soon.
Disperse to the north now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest, citation, or crowd control agents, including tear gas and impact weapons.
I know it's right here too. It's crazy. I'm thinking about doing kind of like a watch party type deal where we can watch the riots together. But I don't know. Kind of like going back and showing the most intense parts, at least the parts that were the most intense for me.
This is the Portland Police. This has been declared a riot. Disperse to the north now. Failure to adhere to this citation.
That's
Crowd
crazy.
control agents, including tear gas.
That was just crazy, man, for me at least.
Police. This has been declared a riot. Disperse to the north now. Failure to adhere to this order may subject you to arrest, citation, or crowd control agents, including tear gas and impact weapons.
Alright, so, here we go. Alright, give me 1 second. I gotta figure out how to get this guy in. Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Hey, what's up?
Alright, cool. Hey, give me 1 second. Let me try to. So I got to switch the window capture to. So keep that on. I got a new setup, so I'm trying to get it all in.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Here we go. We got that window capture. And let me see if this window capture works. We are live. Zoom. Alright, well, it's gonna work. I just gotta resize it on this thing. It's that window capture, so I can take this video capture device out. I can put that window capture in. So I'm doing all this live. I just got this today. Does it work if I do that? Yes, it does. And I just put this little box right like that. Boom! We are doing it. There we go. Now we're cooking.
All right.
What's up with you, man? What you been up to? Well, you know what? Don't disclose too much of what you've been doing, but in general, how have you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good, man. Just busy. It's been a while since we've been able to do a stream, so this is cool to get back on.
All right, have you seen this? Did you see this?
What's that?
All right, so this is from the other night. I don't know I've got so many windows open right now.
This is the Portland Police.
But,
This has been declared a riot. Disperse to the north now. Failure to adhere to this subject to arrest, citation, or crowd control agent.
This whole scene's crazy. It almost looks like it's right out of a movie. Because
Yeah, I think I saw that one.
it's insane, man. All right, so
I mean, they got to do something eventually. Yeah.
for real, they really do.
Yeah. Other than just let the city like burn down. So.
All right, so all the things I've covered so far is this this potential Three Gorge Dam, catastrophic crack, and how it can be devastating to the world's food supply. So I covered that. Then I covered this Yale study that Ben Swan covers. I'm covering somebody covering. But anyway, Yale did this study, and they measured all these different factors for how they can get people to accept taking a COVID-19 vaccine. And some of them is like embarrassment or guilt or social duty, some of these crazy types of things. So I was just thinking of those kind of factors. This guy from Full Spectrum Survival goes into urban warfare and how that's kind of popping off and how the military is preparing for it. One of the crazy things was, I'll wrap it up, is that urban warfare was like defined as in order to dominate the battle space, you have to physically and psychologically isolate or seal off the enemy combatants. And then Mayor Lori Lightfoot, I kind of just made the connection today, but she literally sealed off people in downtown Chicago so cops weren't allowed to go to the suburbs and help if there were crazy things going on. I mean, I know crime skyrocketed there, but those kind of things, and that was just leading to that, the riots, man. And you just saw it, the freaking fireworks is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's getting hot everywhere. I mean, like that whole thing with the fireworks and the ammonium nitrate in Beirut. And the news tried to sell it as, I promise this is fireworks and ammonium nitrate. And it's got like a mushroom cloud. And it's just like...
Sonic,
no.
You see that sonic wave too? It's insane.
Yeah, it's just like there's absolutely no way that's fireworks and ammonium nitrate.
So what are your thoughts on it then? What do you think it is?
Okay, well, I saw a video online, so I don't know if it's super reliable, but someone did like the negative view of it. So it's like, like the negative of a photo, everything's kind of reversed in color. And you can see like a little thing come across the screen, like a line come across the screen right before the detonation. And I thought that was interesting, but, of course it's possible to doctor videos, but I don't know if that was real or not, but it seems believable.
Hold on 1 sec.
Sure.
My bad, man. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's still picking up in the other things. My kids came home, but
Okay.
yeah, I saw what you were talking about. Maybe a reverse angle, maybe not the line, but I saw one where at the very last second before the sonic boom wave, or whatever, the mushroom cloud, it looked like a bird flew in for a split second, just really quick in. But I saw some other crazy stuff on laser weapons, man, today that kind of got me worried, man. I'm just worried in general, I guess, nowadays.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to what's going on, like where we think that we might have control because, like, say we have, we prepared and we bought firearms and stored food and gear and everything. Like, it's a good thing to do that, but like that may not save you from what could potentially happen. Have you heard anything about asteroids? That's been like a big thing that a lot of people have been talking about.
I've only seen the stuff on Marfoogle about asteroids and how what is it that is it Jupiter that's moving out of the way, or Neptune, one of the planets are moving out of the way, and it's opening up the space for the asteroids to come in. Here,
Right.
let me find out what window I'm in, and then I'll hold on a second. What have you heard about the asteroids?
I mean, I just keep hearing several people talk about it, so I don't know if everyone just has the same crazy idea or if who they're hearing it from is a reliable source, but multiple people are saying it, and it kind of makes me want to believe it when I hear multiple people saying it rather than just one. But they're saying September is supposed to be a big month.
Hold on a sec. I don't know why it looks like it froze. I think it's because I did something. Exit minimal view. There it goes. Does that fix it? I think that fixed it. That's crazy. All right, so I got some other crazy stuff, man. Have you seen this NBA 2K advertisement?
No.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get the screen going again. So I'm doing all this on the fly for anybody that's hating. That's all I had for tonight, man. This crazy crap. All right, now I gotta do the window capture on. Boom. All right, that's not too bad. All right, let me get this centered up.
So like an advertisement, or what are we looking
Yes.
for?
Okay. So it's NBA 2K's new advertisement for this year, but it's got like some super satanic stuff in it.
Are
It's
subliminal
crazy, man.
sigils being flashed. So first, we'll view at regular speed, and then take a closer look.
As foretold, greatness will walk among us, one unlike the rest, one of one, the size of a mountain, with heart to match. He'll move like lightning, crash down like thunder, presence that draws crowds from far and wide. The next generation, everything is gained.
So they play it back, man, and I'll just play the video in the background while we're talking through it. But did you see anything on there that stood out to you as kind of odd? I'm not sure if you can see it.
So I could only hear the audio, but I was like gonna ask, is that a commercial before the actual video, or no? That was actual video.
No, that was the
Like that was an NBA 2K. That was like a video game.
yeah
commercial?
the video game commercial. Hold on. So what I didn't do with you is screen share, but if I screen share, then it takes away our side by side. You disappear for a sec. But yeah, it's like it's a video game.
Yeah, I got disconnected.
Oh, no worries. All right, so let's see what happens when I do the screen share. If I do it, and then I go here. I'm just gonna run it back, man, because this is crazy stuff. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
All right, and then from here, what do we got? It's weird, but it's still going. I'm just gonna run with it. All right, here we go.
Blatantly portrays Lucifer and reveals the coming of the Antichrist, while hyping up Zion, of course, the next face of the NBA. So upon viewing at regular speed, first be warned, there are subliminal sigils being flashed. So first, we'll view at regular speed, and then take a closer look.
As foretold, greatness will walk among us, one unlike the rest, one of one, the size of a mountain, with heart to match. He'll move like lightning, crash stand thunder. Presence that draws fast and far and wide. The next generation. Everything is gained.
All right, hold on. So I gotta go back over to the Zoom and then stop sharing. All right, we go. Stop sharing. That pops up there. Go back to 2 people. Boom. It's like I'm editing. I'm really doing it. All right. Okay. It came up kind of choppy on the
No, I feel like
YouTube
I
stream.
caught it. Like it was meant to be seen, but like there was a lot of hieroglyphic things and a lot of like I don't know if it was like pentagrams or what. There's some weird stuff.
Dude, there's pentagrams and then like there's literally like a winged Lucifer in the background. There's like a baby Lucifer womb, and a lot of these NBA stars are like, "What the hell? This is crazy. This is freaking me out." But it seems really weird,
Like
man.
that demonic voice, like I don't know what it is. There's just some like weird like demonic voice that's I guess for part of it. I don't know if you heard that, but
No, I didn't.
okay, yeah, it was. I think it was like towards the middle, but it was just like when I first heard it and I couldn't see it, it stood out. And then when I watched it, I heard it again, and it's just like a demonic voice. I don't know, like why is that in a basketball ad?
Yeah, that's insane, man. There's some crazy stuff. Have you heard about any of these like underground tunnels, underground cities?
Well, yeah, I've heard that they were discovered in Lebanon when that missile hit, and I've heard that under the U.S. there's several places that have entrances to them. So I'm not sure like if every country has them, but it kind of makes me think that they do. Because that was actually I think it was on like Sky News. They were saying that from the remains of the blast in Lebanon, they discovered like tunnels, and then people like had hope that their family members might be down there, but no, there's no way that they survived, and who knows what those tunnels are for.
Yeah, that's insane to me. And with all this asteroid stuff coming, that's being predicted, that's got me freaked out. The fact that people that I watch and read are calling out NASA for their budgets and saying where is he going, and it's really looking like all the resources are going towards underground things. So I don't know. I'm just trying to be as prepped as possible.
Yeah, like NASA doesn't really do anything, but I don't know what their budget is, but it seems like all of our space stuff is outsourced to Elon Musk and SpaceX. So
Have you seen those SpaceX? Oh, you know what? You sent them to me. The SpaceX anomalies.
Yeah.
That stuff's crazy, man. So I was.
that's pretty interesting.
Have you seen these? So I was gonna get into like, I don't know, man. Like what I'm doing to prepare, and like the biggest thing on my list right now is like a 4-wheel vehicle, like trading in my current truck and getting a 4-wheel truck that's bigger and more capable for the family. But they've got these off-road 4-wheel trailers that literally you can just. My main concern with towing was like, what if it falls off the back of your truck when you really need to go over some rocks or some crazy terrain? But these trailers, they kill it, they crush it through all that stuff, man.
Okay. That's definitely one area I'm not like confident in is a 4-wheel vehicle, but oh wow, look at that.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, you've got pretty much everything else covered, though.
Pretty much as long as I can get to where I need to be.
Are you, do you have a bug out situation? Like, do you have a bug out plan already?
Well, the plan is just to get to where I need to be, basically kind of like at a off-grid or something, because my dad has property, so if I can just get there, the issue is getting there. Say, if there was like an EMP and all vehicles are disabled, at that point I wouldn't be able to get there.
Man, do you think EMP's like a legitimate threat right now that we should be worried about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a viable threat because it would be something that I think would be easier to do and cause a lot of damage, because once that happens, like, the whole area that was affected, the infrastructure is done for.
Yeah, man.
Like, I mean, everything is electronic these days, so everything would be shut off
That's
for a
crazy.
long time.
That's just crazy, man. All right, so I gotta. I've been doing this for too long. I gotta make dinner, man. I marinated some steaks, and I think the fam's waiting on me. But I'm thinking about just doing this like every other night, just hopping on, showing some videos that that I've seen that kind of are concerning, man, and just kind of talk through some of the stuff, and I don't know, just try out the new setup, and just let me know. We can jump on whenever.
Yeah, for sure. I'll have to check out that NBA video.
Yeah,
more in depth,
I'll
see
send
what
you the
comes up.
link. I'll put the link in the description for all the videos and all the articles I looked at. And shit, man, let's do this sooner than later.
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother.
Bye.
All right, now the issue is getting out of here. Stopping the stream. All right, well, appreciate you guys watching the stream. For everybody that did. And, well, hopefully we covered some stuff. I wanted to get into some preparedness spreadsheets later on, but we can do that in future broadcasts when it's a little more prepped. But this is a cool test stream. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.